Okay.
Okay, so you all want to go start the meeting? We're gonna have a moment of silence, begin the meeting for board member Kevin Brennan. So please rise. Thank you. Before we have the pledge, I'd like to invite all the people who are patients and survivors of breast cancer to please come up to the podium.
Okay, just a second.
Being that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we're going to honor the ladies who have survived breast cancer and who are patients and survivors of it. Okay. Have our flag. Okay. Please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to ask for adoption of the agenda. Do we have a motion? Second? Okay, thank you. Adoption of the minutes. Do I have a motion for the adoption of the minutes? Okay. And second? Costello. I'd like to welcome some people in the audience. Lori Windsor from Congresswoman Nicole Malataka's office. Sergey Chopik from New York City Controller's office. Nancy Lulu from Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez's office. Maya Yedin from Senator Andrew Bernard's office. Christina Botek from, council member Alexa Avils' office. Here. Basil Kaptanakis from Assembly Member Michael Canu's office. Captain Desario from the commanding officer of the 68th Precinct. Eileen Sacco, president of the 68th Community Council. And Officer Gandor from the Community Affairs Office, 66th. Okay, first up for the public session will be Maya Yedin from Senator Bernard's office.
I have a lot to do in 2 minutes. Okay, we have a very busy couple of months, weeks especially. Tomorrow night, we have a webinar, Paying for College and Managing Student Debt. There are flyers for all of these things on the back, so please feel free to take them and join us. We would love to have you. So that's tomorrow night at 6 p.m. online. This Saturday is the extremely popular Shred Fest. Fall 2025 edition, in conjunction with Councilmember Browning, at the St. Anselm Church parking lot from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have a lot of Halloween events this weekend, the first of 2 Halloween. This weekend we have an event on 11th Avenue between 66 and 67, the Spooktacular with our friends at NIA, who I see here. From 11 to 3, and on Sunday, the 26th, we have our Halloween festival at Owl's Head, which we love, from 12 to 4, costume contests at both. And then yesterday, we had our first session with Judy Grimaldi, Caring with Confidence, and next Monday, we'll have our second session, Caring with Confidence, a roadmap for the years ahead, practical steps for supporting aging family and friends. You can register online, you can go to our website. And we would love to have you there. We had a great turnout last night. And we're going to wrap it up. Thanksgiving Day Student Showcase, write what you are thankful for, draw what you are thankful for, write a poem what you are thankful for, also on our website. And finally, the wildly popular No Soliciting Allowed flyer, all of this is on the back. Thank you very much.
Next up, there will be Nancy Lulu from the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. I bring greetings on behalf of District Attorney Eric Gonzalez to everyone. DA Gonzalez's top priority is the safety of our Brooklyn communities. Public safety is a shared commitment and shared responsibility. As always, I want to remind you, if there's anything that you would like to address to the Brooklyn DA's office, you could call our Action Center. The number there is 718-250-2340. I'm going to be very brief. You can follow our website at brooklynda.org, our social media platforms, and that's really it. Thank you to CB Tun, and thanks for having us.
Next up, I'd like to invite Sergey Chopra from the New York City Controller's Office.
Thank you. I forgot my thing. Hi, everyone. I haven't been here, I think, for many months. That's why I wanted to start by saying I represent the controller's office here. And I'm not the controller, I'm not the gentleman. Some people usually ask what the controller does. Everybody knows what the controller does. Do I need to go over or not? So controller watches over the money. Some people call and say, oh, can we get this loan, this loan, this money? No, we don't give any money. Either. We're just watching over money for the New York City. We, by the New York City Charter, once every 4 years, we audit every city agency. When we issue this type of reports, That's one of the different ones, and for every agency, you can find them on our website. What else we do? We manage the pension fund for New York City employees. We also review all the city contracts. It's lengthy process, but we final stage on that. And if you have questions, concerns, etc., we have, and I have some flyers for you called Community Action Center with a phone number and email address. Dorothy actually asked me to bring this information for you. And we also, to our office, direct all the claims. Again, New York City come through us. But a lot of claims, very few people working on that. It's a lengthy, very intense process. If you have questions, you can leave a message for me. My number is 212-669-1186, or of course, Dorothy is, and the district manager, they all have all my contact information available. Right on time. Okay, so I'll be in the back with some flags for every question. Thank you.
Okay, next up, I'd like to invite Christina Bodego from Councilmember Alexa Mills' office.
Good evening, everyone. Christina Bottego, Councilmember Avilas's office. I'm her Deputy Chief of Staff. I know Rob is typically with you. I will be your CB10 rep for the next approximately 3 months. So if you need anything, I'll be in the back. I have my business cards. Come talk to me. I'll be here for a little while. I'll be quick because I know you all want to get to your agenda. Obviously, our district office is located at 4417 4th Avenue. For those of you who maybe are on the periphery a little bit, but are in our district, we do hold mobile office hours. So coming up this Thursday at McKinley Library, if you'd like to reach us, we'll be there from 1 to 5 p.m. Also Thursday, October 30th, we'll be at FIAO, 1 to 5 p.m. as well. And I just want to encourage everyone, I'm sure you know, early voting is coming up October 25th through November 2nd with the general election on November 4th. There will be some, flip your ballot over, there'll be some ballot proposals on the other side. Take a look at numbers 2 through 6 in particular. Please call our office if you have questions. We think there's some tricky wording there that might disempower communities a little bit when it comes to land use decisions. So I encourage you all, there's a website, whatsonmyballot.nyc. Please visit that and take a read, and if you have questions, call our office. That's it. Thank you.
I would also like to recognize Michael Sheldon from Councilmember Justin Brennan's office.
Hi, good evening. Michael from Councilmember Brandon's office. I think I've been beaten to the punch on all of my announcements, so I'm just going to repeat 2 things because they're especially important. First, back by popular demand this Saturday is our e-waste with shredding event. Come bring your electronic waste, bring your old documents. And then second, much more importantly, like Christina just said, early voting starts on Saturday. No matter who you're voting for, we hope you get out and vote. And I'll leave it at that. Thanks all.
Next, I'd like to invite Kenneth Chu from Assemblymember Lester Chang's office.
Thank you. Thank you, Community Board 10. Thank you, all the board members and all the residents of Community Board 10. I don't have any special announcement. Just to remind our office at 6904 Fort Hamilton Parkway. If you need anything, you can come to us. We're open from 9 to 5, Monday to Saturday. Thank you.
Now I'd like to invite Habib Juday to come up to speak.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Habib Judah. I am the president and the chairman of the board of the Arab American Association of New York. Really, I stand in front of you and my heart is bleeding to what I am going to say. We have been approached by some of our board members as the Arab American Association to stand up and write something about the genocide that's going in Palestine, especially in Gaza and the West Bank. I would like to let you know that our association is 501c3, which is non-for-profit. We are not allowed to be involved in politics. So when I stand and I speak about politics, I speak on my personal recognition and I'm only representing myself. Also, we have been approached as a board. I think Josephine has been approached with some of our board to write a statement also regarding that situation, that genocide and the killing that's taking place in Palestine. It is, I am not speaking on behalf of the board, but I am explaining that the board as a whole board represented by our president cannot write these letters because we are not involved in politics outside the United States. But you guys as individuals, if you believe that what's happening overseas as a genocide that's really killing and women and pigs taking place, please stand up and write your congresswoman or man, your senators, explain your own opinion. Because what I see and what's going on, and I think you all see, killing children and women, over 75,000 dead, over 200 wounded. For what? Hamas, just one more minute, keep you alone. Hamas is an idea, it's not people. Hamas is resistance. It is a legitimate resistance that you have to stand to those who stole your land, to those who are kicking you out of your house. It's not, yeah, it is. It's not.
Okay, let's I'm sorry. Let's not have any cross discussion, please. Shoot me up there.
Thank you, I shouldn't be, but I am. So I thank you very much for listening. Some people do oppose me, it's fine, that's your opinion. But some people approached us and approached the board and the president to speak about it. So I am only saying my opinion. Thank you.
Next speaker is George Saradopoulos.
I'm not here for politics tonight. I'm just here for breast cancer awareness. I am a cancer survivor myself. First of all, let's give another round of thank you. I just want to give another round of applause to the women. Some of the toughest women I saw were the women going for chemo up on the 10th floor of Columbia Presbyterian. My heart went out to them, and they were some of the toughest women I would see in the elevator coming in, coming out for chemo. So again, let's have another round of applause for the women who survived that cancer. I also want to have a little PSA for our men. 1 out of 8 men are going to get prostate cancer. So there's a good chance, give or take, 5 or 6 men in this room will have prostate cancer. Now, we don't like to talk about it as men. I know I didn't want to talk about it as a man. But trust your body. If something is wrong, if you're going to the bathroom too much, if you have blood, or you can't go to the bathroom, trust your body. I was diagnosed at 49 years old. They don't even test until you're 50 for prostate cancer. So go, if you don't, and that goes for everything. If something feels wrong, go get yourself checked out. Don't wait. Cancers are hitting people younger and younger. I was downtown during 9/11. It could have been 9/11. It could have been the food we eat. chemicals in our soaps and shampoos. It could be anything. Get yourself checked out. If it doesn't feel right, don't wait. That's all I gotta say.
Our next speaker is Brad Hennessy.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Brad Hennessy. I came here, what, in 2021? I can't believe I'm still coming back, just to make sure that the number one thing on, the financial push for the community is the 10th Avenue sewer project. From 77th Street to 86th Street, we will flood during any kind of rain, like in our basements. And, it's sewage and God knows what coming into our homes. There's nothing we can do about it. It's a 100-year-old system. Which pipes from our backyard into the front where there's nowhere to go. Because the hills are coming down, they're flooded with water. The project got approved in what, 2023? It was $50 million. We were all excited, 50 of us to come down here and complain, and we finally thought, hey, we finally won one. 2025, it's doubled in price, and the DEP does not talk to us anymore. Still waiting for them to do it. They're like, no, we're working on it. But we've seen nothing. They were supposed to at least make the catch basins bigger. They've done nothing. But I've seen bike paths come and go several times, roads being done, bridges, some things we don't need, congestion pricing's been going, and yet we're just waiting, for our right to have a sewer. I mean, we pay for it. And it's nothing that we can do to fix it. I've tried. I've had, snakes, things to try to shut it off. There's just no way of doing it. So you're flooding my home with human feces and chemicals, and then I have to go in and clean it with chemicals. And I'm 48, so I can still do this. My neighbor's 80-something years old. She can't do it. So it's like, you can't even help them as this is happening. So I just came again tonight to push again, because hopefully the city will do what's right and push and actually get the DEP to do the job that we actually pay them for. So we're paying for a service that they don't even do right now. So, okay.
Next, I'd like to invite Regina Farage.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Regina Farage, and I'm going to follow up on that DEP issue. I live on 72nd Street between Narrows and Colonial. My neighbors on 71st and 73rd since 2021, we get flooded every time it rains when we never got flooded before. It's my understanding, and I've had experience with DEP and 311. 311 years ago, we had stench coming from the Owl's Head pollution plant. You'd call 311 and they could never log a complaint because Owl's Head pollution plant was not in the drop-down menu. So the 311 operator could not file the complaint. We finally got the DEP commissioner with Marty Golden, Mrs. Severian. I had everyone in the audience dial 311 because DEP claimed there were no 311 complaints. So we all dialed, and sure enough, we all got the same response. I'm sorry, we don't know where Owl's Head pollution plant is. We can't log the complaint for you. Well, I gave them the cross streets. They still couldn't find it. I asked them, could you add it to your drop-down menu? Oh, we can't do that. So finally, Marty Golden got it on board. The next day after Severian, when all of us called 311 and couldn't log a complaint, the DEP commissioner was fired. Here, DEP, my understanding, actually shuts the sewer line so the pollution plant does not overflow, but yet it comes into our basement and we get raw sewage. I have filed 4 claims with my insurance company. You can only imagine what that does to your insurance coverage. They drop you every year. Then you go to find an insurance carrier, they put you in a high risk. So now my premium is almost $9,000 for a basic policy. My understanding, I'm reviewing is capital budget priorities and requests. It seems to me that raw sewage seems to be going into everyone's home in Bay Ridge. It's DEP's responsibility to fix it, and we need to get it done. And I see on this priority list, agency does not support and cannot accommodate, remove requests. What is this? How do we get this on board? We all need to come together, sign a petition, get DEP commissioner in front of us and get this done, because this is disgraceful. And also, 311, just to say 311 will not log a complaint with these floods neither. I'm having the same problem. And when I call the various Nicole Malliotakis office, they're aware of it. I call Justin Brandon's office. Justin Brandon's office tells me there are no complaints logged in 311. So once again, we're having a problem with 311. They refuse to log your complaint. We got to get on top of it. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Next, I'd like to invite up Carmen Feliciano.
Liz, after hearing your story, I feel like mine is minimum. My name is Carmen Feliciano. I've been on the board for several years. I'm a 9/11 responder, and because of that, I've got breast cancer 3 times and a page full of like 12 surgeries and other things that went wrong. But the one thing I want to say is, every time I've gotten it, I've had tremendous doctors and had great recovery. I've gone through chemo and came to community board meetings. A lot of women still to this day put off going for tests. And if you go, it's a big fear. And everybody's afraid of hearing, well, I'm sorry, but you have cancer. There's actually something your doctor could say that's worse than that. I'm sorry you waited so long, it's incurable, and now I can't help you. The devastation that you're gonna feel right then is gonna be worse for your family, for your husband, for your co-workers, for your children, for people you deal with, people who depend on you. I'm urging, everybody's listening, and George, I'm glad you said this, men and women, do not put off any tests. Make your appointments and go. Because I've had 17 years of ups and downs. I do not regret working at Ground Zero. I love my doctor. When she announced in our communication department, committee, that we should have a breast cancer awareness, I called all these agencies, they sent material. There's enough material in the back. Take it, share it with your family, your neighbors. If somebody you know is putting off the test, tell them to go, and you can offer to go with them. It is amazing what they can do now with medicine. My sister had breast cancer 30 years and went through hell. I've gone through it 3 times, and the type I have can come back 2 more times. I don't want it to, but I keep my appointments, and I'm diligent about taking my medication. You only get one chance with your life. Don't waste it by saying, we need to, I gotta bake a cake or my kid's project or something. Save your life, because the last thing you want to hear is, I'm sorry you waited too long.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Florence Dean.
Thank you. This is really more in the realm of questions to the board. This is in connection with the application to approve a new cannabis dispensary on 3rd Avenue. The question really becomes what role the board has. Does it have discretion to approve or disapprove this request? If it has the discretion, why is this a necessary use? The particular location is a block away from the Lutheran Church and is around the corner from a public school facility. So is there some compelling need for this? There is already a licensed dispensary on 3rd Avenue in the eighties, less than, 10 blocks away. So that's really, it's more of a question than anything else, but I would urge that there's no compelling need to approve something like that.
Our next speaker is Majdi Vaskov.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mati Vaskov, and I'm an outreach coordinator, and I'm here to remind about the services for homebound seniors. And I represent Catholic Charities Brooklyn and Queens, and we provide free services for homebound seniors 60 years of age and older. And the services are funded by the Department of Aging, and those include free case management, free home delivered meals, free home care, housekeeping, transportation, long-term care planning, benefits and entitlements, and many, many other services. And in order to enroll in this program, you have to meet two simple criteria. You have to be 60 years of age and older, and you need to have partial or full homebound disability. An example of partial disability would be recovering from the surgery, or if you have kidney issues and you're attending dialysis center, you would be eligible based on our criteria. So if you know anyone who would be interested in those services, please call at 718-680-3530. My business cards and flyers are at the end of that hall. I will be here for the end of the community work. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thank you.
I would also like to recognize from the Borough President's Office, Jessica Callow.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It looks so nice in here. Okay, so bear with me. My name is Jessica. I'm from the Borough President's Office. I want to remind everybody that community board application season is underway, so the application might open up next month. So when they open, somewhere around the end of the month next month, I encourage everybody to apply as soon as possible. When you have a problem at the last minute, I don't want to have to hunt you down and come to your house and make sure you apply. So please apply or reapply. We want to wish everybody a happy Hispanic Heritage Month, happy Italian American Heritage Month, and happy Polish American Heritage Month. We did the 2025 comprehensive plan this summer. We released it. It's really nice. I encourage everybody to take a read. There's a lot of good data in there. There's a lot of good GIS maps in there. For what it's worth, the comprehensive plan has a lot of information, and it's worth digesting a lot of it. It's like 400 pages. And for whatever your view is on the plan, it's still really good data. So I encourage everybody to take a look at that. The 2026 Brooklyn pin design. Okay. So you guys will see these flyers in the back. You see like I'm wearing a little Brooklyn pin here. It was redesigned for 2025. We are having a new design competition for 2026. So we encourage everybody, if you know an artist or if you are an artist, please submit a design for the competition for this upcoming year. 2025 was designed by Kid Super, which is a fashion personnel. So we are designing the next 2026 one for another Brooklyn-based style. Italian heritage and culture event tomorrow. We also have a flyer about it. VP will be presenting proclamations and such. We're very proud of our partnership on the Italian Heritage Cultural Ceremony. So please, I'm going to go ahead. And if you like adopting animals, we have an adoption filter event. Thank you so much.
Okay, that ends our public session. We will now go on to the public hearings. This is a public hearing on capital and expense budget priorities. In the matter of prioritizing the capital expense budget priorities for fiscal year 2027. In October, community boards have the opportunity to submit capital and expense budget requests for their representative community districts. Every year, we review and submit a list of budget priorities to the mayor's office of management and budget. ONB looks it over and sends requests to the representatives for city agencies. The executive committee reviewed the board's budget priorities carefully at our October 15th meeting, and the list was emailed to all of you last week. We will have copies here for anyone that needs to follow, if you need them. This year's priorities are arranged by specific city agencies. We will begin with a motion to dispense the reading of the capital expense budget priorities list. Do I have a motion?
Yeah.
Second? I will call the question to a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions or recusals? Unanimous. Open up discussion, now I would like to, open up the same discussion for, capital budget priorities. That's the blue sheet. Okay, all right.
Yellow sheet.
Now I'd like to call for adoption of the fiscal 2027 capital budget priorities as recommended by the executive committee. Expense. Okay. Do we have a motion? Carmelo? Second, Larry? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hands. Yes, go. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I saw on the last page.
On the last page here, I see under the NYPD, we're asking to upgrade and expand the Argus camera, system. From what I understand is, that's what? You said the capital thing.
Just open up the yellow.
Slow down a little bit. Well, I have a question. Okay, but I'll speak on this.
Okay, now we're on the yellows now. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions or recusals?
Yeah. Quarter, because it's a little bit confusing. I thought we initially voted unanimously just to dispense with reading them out loud. But we were still gonna discuss each of them.
Well,
Maybe I misunderstood.
we just voted on them, so, I mean, I did open the floor for discussion.
Well, I don't know if we should talk about the
I guess what I'm saying is, it sounds like maybe there are some folks who wanna have discussion about, but not both. I think maybe it was just.
Slow down. I gotta go fast, so we're like all action. Okay, we just voted on the capital. We voted on to dispense with the reading, and then we voted on the capital, the blue. I don't think we.
All right,
Was there a question? I think we voted. I thought we did.
I don't know. Why don't you take the question, so. Well, because we just finished the.
I thought
All right.
So are we having a discussion on the issue?
As far as the capital items, my understanding, I mean, it's not my understanding, we voted on the capital to close it. If there were additions to the capital or expense budget, they were to be emailed to us. We did not receive any emails. from board members on that. So the list as they're presented tonight are the list that were adopted and voted upon by the executive committee. So, the blue, capital items were voted on, supported, and that's closed. I don't know if there's a way to reopen that. But that's where we're at according to my notes.
What's the yellow sheet?
Yellow is next.
Expense. You do not go.
Board members,
Board members only. Board members only now.
Point of order.
Yes.
We reopen discussion.
Well, no, maybe the already voted on the blue ones, now we're on the yellow.
Like, point of order, we ask if we want to have motions to reopen, because I feel like somebody has something to say and things move really fast. No, we can't hear the motion to reopen.
She wants to, we can have a motion to reopen discussion on the blue sheets.
Point of order.
Yes.
Okay, we're using Robert's rules. You know, everybody, I know it's annoying, and some of the emails are very long, but a lot of work goes into the emails, that the directions are very clear to send back any kind of suggestions, and that would have been an opening for, you know, a change of the proposals. So as of now, point of order, the blues were voted upon, and the yellows were voted upon also. And they were accepted, right? Yellow was.
Well, the yellow ones voted on.
When they just, we just did that just now.
No, not yet, that was the blue.
If I could just, I have a point of order, must change it, clarify again, it's just, I think things were moving fast, I think people didn't realize we voted, and I think there were people that had some discussion about the.
Okay.
That were.
Alright, since we already voted on the blue ones, whoever has a question, just email your questions to the district office and we'll answer your questions. Alright? Okay, now we're going to the yellow ones. Expense budget priorities for fiscal year 2027, these are the yellow sheets. Note that the executive committee reviewed this list and opened up a discussion. There are amendments to our priorities if new budget items are brought forward. Is there a motion to adopt the financial year 2027 expense budget priorities as recommended by the executive committee?
Romeo.
Seconded by Stella. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hands. Any opposed? Any recusals? Or abstentions? Unanimous. Okay, now I'd like to invite Chris Ellison from the Police and Public Safety Committee to give his report.
Good evening, everybody. So the Police and Public Safety Committee meeting was held on October 16th. The meeting was a hybrid meeting in person at Community Board 10 District Office and on Zoom. We met in quorum and the agenda was as follows. The new SLA wine beer cider license for Arion Brooklyn Corporation doing business as Campos Taverna. New SLA liquor wine beer and cider license for Chino's Pizzeria Incorporated. New SLA liquor wine beer cider license for Favorite Manor. Review of application for OB Enterprises LLC, 9206 3rd Avenue. For new adult retail cannabis dispensary. First item. And what I'm going to do is just read our stipulation once, and if there's any changes to it on our boilerplate stipulation, I'll let you know. And we'll just wait a little more for that. The application, Nicholas Moitzi and Paris Moitzi was present in the district office. Michael Boyce was present on Zoom. This location was previously Blue Door Restaurant. The applicant, Nicholas Moitzi, is currently co-owner of Pegasus Restaurant located at 8610 3rd Avenue and does have an active SLA license. The restaurant will have 22 seats with 11 tables and a bar with 4 seats, and the rear yard will have 14 tables with 28 seats. The hours of operation will be Monday through Sunday, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. In the past, there was complaints for the rear yard. That was taken care of. Legal was the owner at the time, and in the past year and a half, there have not been any new complaints. So a motion was made to deny the applicant unless the applicant agrees to the following stipulation. The premises will operate as a restaurant. There will be no sale or consumption of alcohol on the premise until the appropriate license is issued by the SLA. Applicants will not serve or allow bring your own booze until their license is obtained. The owner or manager will be on site during all hours of operation. The hours of operation will be Monday through Sunday, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. There will be no smoking permitted. There will be no outdoor music. The doors and windows remain closed to any amplified music. Background recorded and/or music sound levels will remain below the level permitted by the New York City Noise Code. There will be a 20% visibility into the establishment and 5 levels. Once the SLA license is obtained, the community board may call upon the applicant to address any concerns that may arise. The applicant agrees that should it change its method of operation, to give notice and meet with the community board committee at least 45 days in advance of any such change. The applicant agreed, and the motion passed in favor. So, any questions? No, we don't have to second because we had an in-person call. What? Look. Oh, okay. Any questions? Any questions, public? So, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any recusals? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next item is new SLA liquor wine beer and cider license for Tino's Pizzeria Incorporated. The applicant Leonardo Mancini was present on scene, and his attorney Anthony Caraballo was present at Community Board 10 District Office. The hours of operation will be Sunday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 12 a.m., and on Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. There will be 4 tables and 18 seats in a stand-up bar with 10 seats. The applicant is current owner of the building and is doing renovation. Mr. Mancini has previous experience in operating restaurants. The outdoor space will be used as the DOT outdoor cafe guidelines. Once the permit is obtained, it is anticipated to have 7 tables with 14 seats. There will be recorded background music in the premises. After a discussion period, the committee's recommendation motion is deny the applicant unless the applicant agrees to the following stipulation. That's similar to the stipulation I just read. The only changes are the hours of operation will be Sunday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 12 a.m., and on Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. The applicant agreed, and the motion passed unanimously in favor. Any questions? Yes.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to introduce myself as one of the partners for Chiquinos and the design architect. So I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm here and, want to tell you everything that we're doing, to bring up to the community and this construction, design, look and feel, and, just a place for families. It's going to be a little more than I mentioned, like for bar application, but coffee, pastries, gelato, pizza. So we really want to welcome the community with this process and this group, and just wanted to put my name out there and introduce ourselves. And I've been in Big Ridge all my life in Brooklyn, so I'm just happy with some beauty and more beauty that we already have to really So, yeah.
Is there a backyard?
Yeah.
No, there isn't.
No, the question was, is there a backyard component? There is not. So the applicant agreed and the motion passed in favor. So I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Refusals? Motion passes. Next item is new SLA wine, new SLA liquor wine beer and cider license for. Sorry. The SLA. New SLA license for liquor, wine, beer, and cider for Favorite Manor. The applicant, Ali Al-Said, was present along with his attorney, Anthony Caraballo, at Community Board 10 District Office. The location is currently a catering hall, and there is no change in the method of operation. The location does have a certificate of public assembly with 225 on the first floor and 125 on the cellar floor. There will be 22 tables with 220 seats on the first floor and 10 tables with 120 seats in the cellar. Mr. Al-Sayed is also purchasing the property. After a discussion period, the committee's recommendation, the motion is to deny the applicant unless the applicant agrees to the following stipulation. It's a similar stipulation I just read. The only item, the premise will operate as a catering hall. The hours of operation will be Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Any questions? Hold on, first board member.
Yeah, my only question is, what that, that extra language we used to add on, is that only for sidewalk cafes when we talk about valet parking, or is that for liquor and wine as well? License as well? Yeah, just because I live on that street and it gets like double and triple parked when they have an event. So owners changing, maybe they'll change, but I don't know if we put that stipulation or not. We just don't even bother. We don't.
The majority of the 311 complaints that we saw were just annoying, on after hours when closing.
Yep.
Nothing really
The
on
vibe is
valet.
locked.
Yeah, I understand. So we'll talk to the owner and see about that, right?
Yeah, so we don't attach that to, we attach it to sidewalk with valet parking.
Any other discussion? Give me South Side too. I'll have the owner, Ms. South Side, the question was about the parking, on how we're gonna handle it. Right? So,
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ali Al-Saidi. I'm the president of the Amen Community in New York, and also a business owner in New York. And the Bay Ridge Manor will stay the Bay Ridge Manor. We were concerned about, the residents around the area, and we will do the best to make sure there's no traffic in that street, especially 76th Street. We can't control Fifth Avenue. Fifth Avenue, everybody know how it is. Everybody wants to run inside the store for like 2 minutes. Sometimes they have a ticket. Sometimes they're lucky not. But we will be more than, Bay Ridge Manor, and we keep it the same as EDA.
this gentleman in the back had a question. Sir? You had a question? You just step up. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I live on, at 9201 Shore Road. And, beautiful, complex.
Is this question regarding catering hall?
Excuse me?
This question regarding the catering hall?
No, it's not.
And we have the mic back on. Only doing the catering hall right now.
So that being said, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? And we recuse. One. Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next item is review of applications for OV Enterprises LLC, 9206 Third Avenue, Brooklyn, for a new adult use retail dispensary license. The applicant CEO, Marat Komornik, will have 51% ownership, and COO, the operating officer, Peter Benzos, will have 49% ownership of the dispensary. Both applicants were present at Community Board 10 District Office. Marat Komornik currently holds the card license number 2024-000101. Peter Benzos currently owns and operates a cannabis dispensary, HII, in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, located at 152 Bedford Avenue. The applicants currently have a conditional use for the location. The applicants will use security personnel to a company that employs licensed and bonded security guards. The hours of operation will be Monday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. The applicants are willing to do community events and promote the sale of safe, legal cannabis products. Emphasis on illegal shops which may have unknown products not regulated by the Office of Cannabis Management. The applicants are willing to have the 6A precinct crime prevention officers do a security survey at the location. In the past, Community Board 10 has reviewed applicants for licensed cannabis shops and have given negative feedback to the Office of Cannabis Management. Yet these dispensaries were still given licenses to operate. So, a motion was made to give the applicant a positive opinion with the following stipulations. The hours of operation will be Monday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Security guards will be utilized. No smoking and consumption is permitted on the premises. If people congregate outside, the security personnel will disperse. A queuing access system will be used. The applicant will not exceed the certificate of occupancy. The applicant will provide a floor plan to the board, which I did already. The applicant will provide an employee manual and overview of training, which is done already. There will be an ID check at the outpost. The applicant will utilize an ID scan system. The applicant will utilize cameras in all access points. If there are glazing requirements, the applicant will meet such requirements as outlined in the Marijuana Taxation Act. Prior to opening, the board will have a meeting with the applicant to review the security plan, floor plan, and any concerns that may arise. After a discussion period, the motion passed in favor unanimously. So I'll open it up for any questions.
Is it in close proximity to school or anything?
It's not within the 200-foot guidelines of a house of worship. I know there is a Trinity Lutheran Church, but it's more than 200 feet away. And school, I think the nearest school is about 600-700 feet away. Something even the applicant looked at, and there is no other dispensary now within 1,000 feet. Now, in the past, like I said, we only offer an opinion here, and other times we gave negative opinions and didn't have any stipulations involved. So the Office of Cannabis Management may not enforce the stipulations. We can as a community. So. Hold on. Hold on.
I just wanted to mention that I do think it is in close proximity to what was formerly known as the Prince Hotel, which has still been a site of illegal activity, and it's been something that's been brought up at other meetings with other residents from that area, bringing that forward. And I just wanted to note that proximity and the concerns that we might have as a community, because I believe that location was being used as some kind of Airbnb. There's a lot of transient people in the vicinity, and that's something that I would be concerned about as well.
Any other board members have questions?
I'm just curious, in the slide, it mentioned that the owner operates another dispensary at 132 Bedford Avenue. Was that discussed at all, whether the operations were positive there, or feedback from the local district?
Yes, I looked up.
Sorry.
I looked up the 311 complaint for that location that was on. All right. The owner and the co-owner were both at the meeting. Apparently, they do get along with the community over there. That is correct. Okay, here. Okay. One, I'll have that.
Are there limitations to say how many dispensaries can be in business in a square mile or in close proximity to each other?
Yes.
Yes,
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet from each other?
1,000 feet.
Thank you.
Any other board members have questions? Okay, public.
Hi, John Bavona. I actually own an apartment right around the corner from there. So first of all, ignorant to the laws regarding cannabis dispensaries, do they have criminal history checks to get a license?
That is done by the Office of Cannabis Management. Sorry. No, it's okay.
I have another question there.
No, that's all right. We'll play bounce back and forth.
That's done by the Office of Cannabis Management, not us. Come up here. This way it's easier. We're not going back and forth. All right. That's done by the Office of Cannabis Management. Usually licenses are issued to people who have been in violations of the required marijuana laws. So I'm sure the one that has 51% ownership has had some problem.
So we
I can't say that.
And you're saying that the person has a criminal history who may own the place. Now, is there any way we can control the times that it's open? Because 11 p.m. people buying marijuana, is probably not something I would like to see. And again, I own an apartment on 92nd Street between 34th Avenue. So if you can't stop them from opening the dispensary, which I'm totally against, can we limit the hours to say 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock rather than 11 o'clock at night? Because people buying marijuana at 11 o'clock at night most likely are going to smoke it in close proximity. I would prefer them to do that during earlier hours. So I could be wrong, but as I recall from the law itself, they're allowed to stay open until 2 o'clock in the morning.
We just want to show.
Bedford Avenue is a very different neighborhood than our neighborhood. Anyway, I'm very much against the legalized marijuana being a form of law enforcement officer, but it is what it is. If we can limit them to the hours that are more reasonable, it would help my property value and the quality of life of people who live on my block.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else do that?
So, I know that area well because not only, that's my husband, we do have that property there, but there is a children's place right across the street from it, which is, right down the street is the Tiger Children, there's a place where children go. And then down 93rd Street, there is a school that's right a few doors down from the Prince Hotel that opened up only a few years ago. So adding a dispensary to that area,
93rd and what avenue?
there's like a school there.
There's over 600 feet.
So, I'm sorry, there's too many children's activities within that area and family activities in that area. As it is, the smell of pot across the street from my house, which is a very nice area, is very concerning. So adding more to this area is a detriment to our lives, to the quality of life.
Let me just give you what this board is allowed to do. We only give an opinion. We do not deny or approve. That's done by the state of New York, the Office of Cannabis Management. And like I said in the past, in the past, we have given our opinions negative, and they still don't know them, right? This way now I have a stipulation where I can go back to them. That's the only thing I can say about that.
Were there any public members at your meeting? Nobody from public. Do you incorporate public, comment when you write your opinion? Okay, thank you.
Was it?
I tend to be opposed to these, but, we've been to a lot of these meetings with a lot of the folks and the owners, and, this particular group seems very cognizant of concerns around children, around education, around safety, and really seems to know the laws, I think, better than any other group that's come before the committee. So for that reason, I can vote in favor of this one, and I just thought that was important to mention. They are parents, they care, and they seem that they would be responsible. I vouch for them. But that was my impression, and I don't tend to give that impression from, well, not from all, but, it was unusual, and it was notable from my perspective.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, so I'll call the question. So after the discussion period, the motion passed in favor unanimously from the stipulation I have read. Do you agree with the stipulation? No? So all those in favor, please raise your signify. Anybody count?
One more time. Please hold your hands up high, please, board members. Opposed? Please hold your hands up high. Motion passes. Any abstentions? Any refusals? Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. At this time, I'd like to invite Jack Zhang.
Hello, everyone. Okay, the Traffic and Transportation Committee met in virtual quorum on Monday, October sixth, to discuss application number 2024-0801-030026 from Milton Honey located at 9402 Third Avenue for a sidewalk cafe on 94th Street with 12 tables and 24 seats. The hours of operation for the sidewalk cafe is 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. The district office noted that there have been 4 311 calls since the restaurant opened in March 2024, but that they were unrelated to business operation. The committee expressed to the applicants that there must be enough clearance between the planters when we're looking at the pictures in the diagram, between the planters and the sidewalk edge, and the application affirmed that they were in compliance. So I have a motion in front of me, motion to deny application number 2024-0801-030026 for sidewalk cafe unless the applicant agrees to our standard stipulations. So I'm gonna make a motion to waive the reading of the stipulations. I've read them many times before, so I have a second from the floor on that. Okay, so I have a motion, I need a second for the motion itself, there's a virtual call, thank you. Okay, any discussion? Okay, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, motion's on the floor, all in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Any abstentions or refusal? Okay, motion passes, thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Okay, I will give my chair's report. The only thing I wanna, tell the board is that, whatever said, first and foremost, the business of the community board must be, done properly and without, being rushed. The only thing I will ask the board is that, because a lot of these venues that we attend are timed and we have to be out by a certain time. If at some point we run over, we either have to delete some of the agenda and we had to do that in the past as well. If anybody has anything in new business that they would like to bring up, they may, but I would like to request that if it requires a vote or a discussion, that you please bring it in writing and give it to the table so that we may review it. We may give it to a committee, and if it's within our jurisdiction. I'm not saying that every request that we get we will give to a committee, because sometimes it just doesn't fall within our jurisdiction. So if you have a request, we will look at it. We will give it to a committee if it's within our jurisdiction, and we will discuss it and bring it properly before the board. I'd like to just try and streamline the business of the community board. This way, we are out in a decent time. We don't give any undue delays to any venue, because they are very generous in giving us these venues for our meetings. Okay? All right, thank you. Yes.
Can I say something at the new business?
No, wait, no. Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite Josephine Beckman to give her district manager's report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So this was a very busy month at the district office. Both preparing, district need statements, capital expense lists, and many, many meetings, as you could see from this long agenda this evening. Yeah, so as many of you know, there was a terrible crash on Narrows Avenue at 81st Street during the month. Two Zavarian students were hit by what many described as a speeding 18-year-old driver of a Jeep. The students were hit, one was pinned and remains in critical condition. Both were walking home from school. Last week, I had the opportunity to meet several of the Zavarian junior high school students who visited the district office, who were only a few feet behind. One of them was a granddaughter of a former CB10 board member. The students have formed a student group called Voices for Street Safety. And I was very impressed by these young people in our community. They applied for a speed bump on Narrows Avenue, and they will be organizing and believe that peer education on street safety must be discussed at all local schools. And they are quite a group. They started an online petition, and they hope to have upcoming assemblies at their school. It was a teaching moment, as they mentioned to me, and I'm very happy that they stopped by the district office, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more of them in meetings to come. Also this month, many of you may have noticed, especially if you've driven around here, this part of town, milling and resurfacing, happened very much so in the 90s. And is winding now in Community District 10. Marine Avenue had some extra work, so that is expected to be completed this week. We will once again be collecting food in loving memory of our late Community Board 10 board member Helen Sokolowski, who was a staunch advocate, a dedicated volunteer, and was passionate about food insecurity in our community. And she really stressed the importance on the need to collect food for local families in need. So this year, non-perishable food donations will be donated to St. Patrick's, to their food pantry. Special thanks to St. Vincent de Paul Society Food Pantry for their continued distribution of Thanksgiving food baskets for families in need. So at next month's meeting in November, please bring perishable items. You can also donate directly as well. I wanted to let you know that the Traffic and Transportation Committee will be meeting here on November 6th, right in this room. An important presentation from the Triborough Bridge and Tunnel Authority about a very large upcoming construction project that will begin within a few months. Community Board 10 Zoning and Land Use Committee will also be hosting the Bay Ridge, we'll also be hosting a tour celebrating Art Deco, its 100th anniversary, and we're very excited. It will take place on Saturday, November 15th from 11 to 1. We'll be sending out flyers, and it will be posted in our newsletter. This was a wonderful idea by a board member and Zoning and Land Use Committee member, Carvacino, so thank you for that. And I also want to shout out to our Vice Chair and Chair of the Zoning and Land Use Committee, Stephanie Simone Mahaney, and Board Member Henry Stewart, who will also be participating in the tour. So it seems exciting. If you want to come, please join in. The Communications and Public Relations Committee has also set a date for a meet and greet for board members on Wednesday, November 19th. You'll be getting more information. I want to thank the Communications and Public Relations Committee too for wanting to celebrate breast cancer and recognizing our board members. We do have pink ribbons above, so if you didn't receive one, please at the end of the meeting, come and take one. And, you know, the board, we were also very saddened by the loss of Terry Brennan. She was a really wonderful board member. And in her memory tonight, I would like to make an announcement, as she did right before every election, about the upcoming election and early voting. So election day is November 4th. Early voting is available from Saturday, October 25th through Sunday, November 2nd. Your election day poll site will likely be different from your early voting poll site. So check your poll site. All of this information is available online and will also be sent out in our newsletter. The 2025 New York City Marathon is also will be before our next board meeting for Sunday, November 2nd, and the route and information will be emailed in our newsletter and also posted on our website.
And CB10's next general board meeting will take place on Monday, November 17th at the Bay Ridge Center, 15 Bay Ridge Avenue. Thank you, respectfully submitted.
Thank you, Cassidy. This time I'd like to invite Shirley Chin to give the treasurer's report.
Good evening, everyone. Community Board 10 Treasurer's Report as of September 30th, 2025. Total personal services, $75,293.18. Total audit and personal services, we have $3,014.86. Leaving an encumbered budget balance of $219,451.96. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. At this time, I'd like to invite the Zoning and Land Use Committee Chair Stephanie Simone Mahaney to give a report.
Thank you. This evening's report is informational only. The Zoning and Land Use Committee met in a hybrid format at the Community District Office and via Zoom with a virtual quorum present. The focus was a review and discussion of a series of ballot proposals approved and certified by the New York City Charter Revision Commission for inclusion on the November 2025 ballot. You should have already received your ballot guides in the mail. So if you refer to those, there's limited information on these ballot proposals, and it's proposals 1 through 6, but I will be discussing mostly 2 through 4 and just a brief explanation of the others. The first presentation was delivered by the New York City Charter Revision Commission's Policy Director, John Mangan, followed by the New York City Council's Land Use Representative, Ann McClellan. Each outlined their perspectives, which were somewhat opposed to each other, on the proposed amendments to the city charter. From here on out, I'm just going to refer to the Charter Revision Commission was convened by Mayor Adams. From here on out, I'm going to refer to the commission and then the council. So for proposal 2A, which is the Board of Standards and Appeals fast track for 100% affordable projects. The commission described proposal 2A as creating a new fast track pathway for 100% publicly financed affordable housing projects to obtain site-specific approvals from the Board of Standards and Appeals, or BSA, rather than undergoing a full uniform land use review procedure, otherwise known as ULURP. It was explained that such projects would remain consistent with neighborhood character and that zoning designations would not be permanently changed. The New York City Council representative cautioned that transferring such authority to the BSA could reduce transparency since the board is composed of mayoral appointees. She also questioned whether the ballot text explicitly restricts eligibility to publicly financed projects, noting its phrasing, housing for persons of low income might allow future reinterpretation. The district manager, Josephine Beckman, noted that Community Board 10 has, in prior cases, been overruled by the BSA, even when the community board issued detailed advisory recommendations. She explained that once cases reach the BSA, community boards have little recourse or opportunity to influence outcomes. This experience, she said, raises concern about granting the BSA additional discretionary authority outside the ULURP framework and without council oversight. There's a second part to proposal 2. This is 2B, fast track rezoning in low production districts. The commission states that proposal 2B would apply a data-driven metric to identify the 12 community or council districts producing the least affordable housing. Those districts would then be placed on a 5-year list, subjecting future rezonings that include at least mandatory inclusionary housing levels of affordability to a 90-day expedited review. So that's from 7 months down to 90 days, 60 days of concurrent review for the community board and borough president. At this time, those 2 reviews happen separately. And those 60 days would be followed by 30 days at the city planning commission instead of the standard 7-month ULURP. It was said that the list does not yet exist and would be first compiled in 2026. The council rep strongly disputed the fairness and methodology of this proposal. She argued that based on housing preservation and development open data, CP10 would likely be among the 12 lowest producing districts due to limited new affordable construction, automatically subjecting it to expedited review for 5 years. She presented a map illustrating projected districts and warned that the measure would cut the council completely out of approvals, removing members' ability to negotiate capital improvements or contextual modifications related to density and infrastructure. She described the calculation as a straight formulaic numbers game focused solely on the ratio of newly built affordable housing to existing housing stock without regard for local conditions or policy context. So during the discussion, the council member noted that the commission member had referred to the rankings as being determined by council district, but she immediately clarified that land use law requires such calculations to follow community district guidelines or boundaries, since ULURP jurisdiction aligns with community boards. She said the confusion shows that the proposal's purpose and methodology are not clearly defined. The district manager, committee members, and several members of the public strongly rebutted the implication that Community Board 10 has not contributed its fair share to citywide housing goals. The discussion emphasized that the district already contains a broad inventory of naturally affordable housing, including rent-stabilized buildings, small multifamily homes, and senior and supported developments, and that it has historically maintained a stable, mixed-income population. It was noted that Bay Ridge is largely built out, with very limited vacant parcels, aging infrastructure, and scarce open space, all of which constrain new construction potential. Participants also pointed out that school overcrowding remains acute, citing the example of a former Ovington Avenue apartment building that was converted for use by PSIS 30, thereby reducing available housing stock to meet public education needs. The discussion concluded that evaluating districts solely by the number of new affordable units fails to capture these contextual realities and may penalize communities that already contribute to citywide equity through schools, senior housing, and civic facilities. The third proposal is called ELURP instead of ULURP. So, expedited land use review procedure. The commission describes ELURP as a shortened review for small rezoning, site-specific actions, and infrastructure or resiliency projects that do not require a full 7-month ELURP. He said the intent is to reduce procedural delays for minor actions while preserving community board review and environmental analysis. The council representative and several committee members expressed concern that in low-density neighborhoods such as Bay Ridge, even modest increases in allowable floor area or height could undermine contextual zoning and set precedents for larger developments. They observed that an expedited process might limit opportunities for negotiation or mitigation typically achieved during a full ELURP. The proposal number 4 is called Affordable Housing Appeals Board. The commission said that proposal 4 would create an Affordable Housing Appeals Board made up of the mayor, the speaker of the city council, and the affected borough president. The board could review and overturn a city council vote, rejecting or modifying an affordable housing rezoning limited to a single borough. The commission said the goal is to reduce member deference. This is the long-standing council practice in which the full body generally follows the position of the local council member on land use matters within that member's district, a custom that can allow individual opposition to halt projects. This proposal is supposed to promote more consistent approval of affordable housing across the city. The council member responded that the proposal would weaken the city council's authority and land use decisions. She explained that the mayor and borough president could form a majority, effectively reversing a council decision and removing leverage to negotiate school seats, park funding, or infrastructure improvements, typically secured through the ULURP process. She warned that the change would shift decision-making to a small group of officials, diminishing local representation. Committee members agreed that while the proposal is meant to address uneven housing approvals, it would also reduce local input and change the balance of power between the mayor and the city council. Finally, so those were the ones that these two speakers were mostly concentrating on, but there are 3 other proposals. When you go to the ballot, you'll see them. The first one, so this is 1, 5, and 6 I'm talking about. Proposal one is a state constitution amendment concerning the Adirondack lands, allowing limited land exchanges for Olympic road and utility projects in the north of our state. But because it is a state, not a city measure, it was only mentioned in passing. Proposal five would modernize and digitize the city's official map, consolidating the 5 borough maps into a single digital GIS-based mapping system administered by the Department of City Planning. Both the commission and the council, only once, they agreed about this, that it is a technical modernization, not a policy change, and that it would not alter zoning or local land use authority. And then proposal 6 would move New York City's municipal elections to even numbered years, aligning them with state and federal elections to increase voter turnout and reduce administrative costs. That is the objective. The council representative noted that while this change could improve participation, it might also diminish focus on local issues during larger election cycles. There were no additional comments or objections from committee members, since it falls outside the scope of the zoning and land use committee. And then in conclusion, during the committee meeting, 3 key perspectives emerged. The New York City Charter Revision Commission emphasized the need to modernize land use procedures and address inequalities in housing production through faster, more data-driven methods. The New York City Council representative cautioned that while these measures are described as improvements in efficiency, they would significantly reduce legislative oversight and the public's ability to shape local outcomes. The Zoning and Land Use Committee expressed its deepest concern that the proposed reforms could result in the diminishment of democratic voice through appointed decision makers, shifting authority away from elected representatives who are directly accountable to their constituents. The committee reaffirms that while New York City faces urgent housing challenges, any reform must preserve transparency, community participation, and the representative role of both the council and community boards in the land use process. Respectfully submitted, Stephanie Simone Mahoney. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. At this time, I'd like to invite the Environmental Committee Chair, Tracy Bridges, to come up and give a report.
Good evening. The Environmental Committee met as a hybrid meeting at 7 p.m. on September 17th and September 30th, both in person at the district office and via Zoom. We did not have a quorum for either meeting. The first presentation was a DEP presentation on proposed capital upgrades to Owl's Head wastewater treatment plant. The Owl's Head facility, built in 1952 and was last upgraded in 1995, serves roughly 800,000 people across Western Brooklyn and handles 120 million gallons a day of wastewater, discharging clean water into the upper New York Bay. The project is a state of good repair rehabilitation and not an expansion. Brian Laberta, Alicia West, and Colin Johnson from the NYC Department of Environmental Protection presented the following. The main upgrades are 1, air blowers, replacing 20-year-old blowers, filters, piping, and electrical systems to improve energy efficiency. Aeration tanks, drain, clean, repair concrete, and replace valves and gaskets for better oxygen flow to microorganisms that digest waste. And 3 was the final settling tanks, rehabilitate concrete and mechanical systems, construct an added floor and a green roof on the return waste sludge building. The timeline and impact is that it starts September 2026, approximately August, with the completion of winter of 2031. Work remains within the facility grounds with no expected noise or odor issues beyond temporary minor disabilities. Minor disturbances. No capacity increase. The goal is improved reliability and compliance with modern electric codes. Truck access will be limited to established favorite routes. We did have a motion, but we did not have a quorum, so we would need a second from the floor. And the motion was to send a letter of support to the DEP Design Committee for the Owl's Head rehabilitation, which passed unanimously. Do I have a second? Thank you. And are there any questions?
I couldn't be at the meeting, but one thing that really struck me, obviously, I'm very much in favor of any improvements Alice had, but the lack of, increased capacity, I think is a big problem. I mean, if this is going to be our, one shot to improve Alice Head, I think we need to increase the capacity. It seems to be at capacity or close to capacity frequently now. As you heard from some of our neighbors earlier, people are experiencing, sewage backups in areas they never experienced before in their neighborhood. So I wondered if there could be a friendly amendment to also request some kind of study or evaluation of additional capacity in addition to this capital project. I would like to. Okay. So all in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions with 3 votes. Okay.
I have a question.
I rarely take. There's no public input at the moment. There's no, we cannot open it to the public at the moment. No, we can't open it to the public. That's only during the public session.
Here's just a general question. Just a general question. When is it that we're gonna be able to ask the question about any of this that's being discussed tonight? Anything, or were you sitting here to see, you know,
Your opportunity was during public session.
when was that?
When you came up and spoke.
All this stuff still now. So we need to comment on what you're saying.
But during the meeting, the public has an opportunity to speak, and we do have an upcoming environmental committee meeting with you and your neighbors. You'll have plenty of opportunity to come and ask questions at that time. Right now, the time of the meeting, we have to dispense with these items and it's for board members only. I'm sorry.
Just a big statement. October 30th was when we supposed to meet the DEP borough commissioner. I circulated all the documents.
Out of
to my
order.
neighbors.
I'm sorry, this is out of order.
They told me to put it on.
You cannot, it has to be during public session. I will move on now to the next review. We had a review of the New York State Bill S 1464/A179 Package Reduction and Recycling Infrastructure Act to address the growing problem of single-use plastics. We had a presentation by Carol Smolinski from Beyond Plastics on the Packaging Reduction and Recycling Infrastructure Act, PREA, aimed at the rapid growth in plastic production and pervasive plastic waste in New York City streets, beaches, and waterways. The public cost is high, hundreds of millions annually for disposal and transport. Currently, 18% of packaging is recycled in New York, and packaging is roughly 45% of New York State waste. Plastics persist as micro and nanoplastics, now widely detected in the environment and human bodies. Packaging, multi-page, contain thousands of chemicals. Dozens are known to be or suspected toxins. PREA core provisions applies to producers who are above $1 million net income placed on packaged goods in the New York, replacing packaged goods in the New York market. Plastic production or reduction phase 30% reduction in plastic over roughly 12 years. Recycling performance ramp up to 75% recycling rate for all packaging materials over time. It bans 17 toxic chemicals and materials, for example, PVC, PFAS, lead, mercury, and prohibits chemical recycling. Producer fees fund local recycling infrastructure and operations. The intended outcomes are shift the cost from taxpayers to producers, reduce waste and toxicity, support environmental justice communities by cutting landfill and incinerator burdens, and lower climate emissions tied to plastic. I did want to note that this, I forgot to put it in my report, but this has passed the Senate. It just needs to go past the General Assembly. So the motion was to support the resolution and send letters of support to Governor Hochul and legislative leaders. This passed unanimously. We did not have a quorum, so we would need a second from the floor. Second. All right, any questions? No, all in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions or recusals? And the last update we had was regarding the brownfield cleanup site at Fifth Avenue and 88th Street. So just a brief recap from April, and the site history includes a former garage with gasoline tanks and auto repair from 1926 to 1977, and later was bank and storage uses. The work plan, demolitions as needed, remove the drainage system, suspected identified UST and oil water separator, excavate impacted soils down to 10 feet, apply chemical oxidant for VOCs, backfill with clean material, and implement the health and safety plan and community air monitoring. The discussion points that we had during the committee were that the committee favors stronger direct notice, for example, certified mail to residents and businesses within a set radius, for example, 500 to 1,000 feet before remediation, plus clear-cut signs for DEC updates. Some members voiced caution about placing a pre-K and elementary school on a remediated brownfield and urged earlier communication or community notification in further acquisitions. Members emphasized acknowledging the planned safeguards and standard remediation practices to avoid unnecessary alarm while improving transparency. So the motion was submit a public comment letter urging earlier notification to the community board when sites are acquired for schools and direct advance notice to nearby residents and businesses before remediation and continue transparency about air monitoring and safety assurances. It passed unanimously, but we did, once again, did not have a quorum, so I would need a second from the floor. Is there any questions? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Recusals? Recusals? All right, respectfully submitted.
Thank you, Tracy. Next, I'd like to call up, the Parks Committee Chairman, Henry Stewart.
Hi, everybody. I have a long list of capital projects in the Parks Department, so they're ready. Work that was recently concluded is a full renovation of Russell Peterson Playground, which opened in the spring of 2025. That's the playground by Fort Hamilton High School. The hex box pathways in John Paul Jones Park were replaced with asphalt. There were new benches. The grading was corrected. Construction was pretty quick, about 3 months, and that opened in the summer. New pathways were built, or just about to be finished, in Owlshead Park. That should be done any day or month now. A full renovation of Vinland Playground was completed in 2024. Full renovation of the playground in J.J. Carty Park was finished in the spring of 2024. The construction of the pathway behind the 95th Street ball fields at the Shore Road Park was completed in the summer of 23, and there were synthetic turf baseball fields replaced in Baker Beach Park, which reopened this summer. Work that is currently ongoing. The playgrounds, spray showers, and basketball courts in Owlshead Park are under construction. They should be done in the spring. A new playground at McKinley Park is under construction, and they're going to remove those old bocce courts and have a new ADA compliant entrance at 7th Avenue. That should be done in the spring. And about 2 miles of chain link fencing between Shore Road Park and the Belt Parkway is being rebuilt from the pier to the bridge, more or less. And that should be done in the fall. They had some money left over and they're using it to restore some of the wrought iron fencing along Shore Road, such as at Oliver Street and
Bayland Circle across from, the senior home. Work that's upcoming. The next phase of Russell Peterson will reorient the handball courts, creating a new skating area and redo the basketball court. That's not gonna be designed till next spring, so that's gonna be a few years. The 6-foot chain link fencing along the Fort Hamilton Athletic Field on 85th Street is gonna be rebuilt. That'll be done next year. The next phase of JJ Carty, which is the subject of a future traffic and transportation meeting. So we can talk about that then. A new restroom is coming to John Paul Jones Park. They're just waiting for more money. The idea is that they're gonna knock down the bathroom that's on Shore Road and 101st Street, that strange, scary building there. And it's not a capital expense to tear down a building, so they have to replace it. They're going to build a viewing terrace there, kind of overlook. So they need to get, they have the money for the bathroom, they have the money for the demolition, they need to get the money for to actually build the overlook. The McKinley Park tennis courts are gonna be resurfaced. That'll be next year. The bike path in the seawall from the bridge to Caesar's Bay is gonna be reconstructed, starting in the fall and ending next fall. That's part of the Greenways project. Also part of the Greenways project, Leif Erikson Park from 7th Avenue to 3rd Avenue, 2nd Avenue. It's unclear, but they're gonna get new in-park greenway segments, new improved on-street crossings, and new ceiling lighting signage. That's gonna start next year and then the following year. Also part of the Greenways project, the entrance to the bike path at Fourth Avenue down by the bridge, that's gonna be improved. There's gonna be a kind of viewing platform, a wider and more gradual pathway, more ADA compliant plantings, lighting, signage. That's gonna be designed this fall, so it'll be a few years before it's done. Dan Ross Playground is being completely renovated, starting probably in 2 years. It's one of the last playgrounds in the renovations in the district. They've almost done them all. Dyker Beach Park at the 8th Street is getting new pathways as well as water fountains, benches, drainage repairs. They're gonna add some pickleball courts. And that's gonna start construction in the spring. Also, the Brutalist cement bleachers at Dyker Beach on Holly Place are going to be replaced by something more modern, because of safety concerns, and that's gonna start next fall. And that's about all I have for you.
Thank you, Henry. Next, I'd like to call up the Traffic and Transportation Committee Chair, Jack Zhang.
Everyone. Okay, I have 3 updates very quick. On Monday, October 6th, the DOT community liaison, Brian Zoomhagen, was not available, and in their absence, DM Beckman provided updates to the committee on the 5th Avenue Bridge reconstruction. The committee also discussed the Go Locker NYC pilot and updates to the outdoor dining questionnaire. The 5th Avenue Bridge rehabilitation work started September 8th and will run through 5 months until February. The updated traffic patterns will maintain bidirectional traffic on the northbound side of the bridge, which is the south side of the bridge, and both sidewalks will be maintained. There will be traffic enforcement agents who will direct traffic at that point in time. The committee requested additional information regarding when the traffic enforcement agents will be on hand, whether notices were provided to local schools and on bike lane usage. The traffic agents will be on site from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. PS 170 and PS 971 are both in the neighborhood notification network, and the community liaison can follow up with both schools, re-notifying them. The on biking, 5th Avenue has share roads, and so they have placed a share the road signage on both approaches to the bridge. Additionally, the DOT shared that the parking spots outside of the Nissan dealerships between 66th Street and 65th Street will be removed beginning October 14th for 4 months, so through the end of the project. That's about 4 or 5 of those spots. The public can contact the district office or community liaison Brian Zoomhagen at 917-200-2671 for more information on this project. DM Beckman updated committee on a new Go Locker pilot program, which will install shared use lockers for package collection from online orders. The pilot program will install lockers at 3 spots. Number 1, 8126 Fifth Avenue at 86 Delhi Court, 8101 7th Avenue at Brooklyn Finest Mini Market, and at 558 86th Street at Sophie Furnace Court. The committee had a number of questions and concern on potential vandalism, payment structure for the property owners, agreement on property owners, as well as existing 6 go lockers already in the district, and how these will differ from those 6 existing programs. The committee decided to table this topic until a DOT representative is able to speak on behalf of the program, so coming soon, hopefully. Lastly, the committee discussed the outdoor dining and enforcement issues regarding that, and even that was mentioned earlier on the valet parking, there was a question on that. The committee agreed to add to the outdoor dining questionnaire 2 additional questions on outdoor smoking and valet parking for the applicant to affirm that they will adhere to no smoking laws and laws regulating valet parking, such as on blocking street parking, using cones, blocking crosswalks already specified in the stipulations. We believe that this will reinforce and will clarify the requirements to the applicant. Because these are not amendments to the stipulation, these are just yes or no questions we're adding to the questionnaire. This will not require a motion to update the questionnaire. Additionally, the committee recommended providing regular reminders on the stipulations to the applicants, given that they are on 4-year renewal cycles, each with convening board review. Respectfully submitted, Jackson.
Thank you, Jack. Next, I'd like to invite the Older Adult Issues Housing, Health and Welfare Committee Chair Ruth Regill Bader.
Good evening, everybody. We had a meeting on, September 16th. And, oh, sorry, can you hear me now? Okay, so we had a meeting on, Tuesday, September 16th. It was a hybrid meeting and we had 7 members, so we were a quorum. But, everything is informational. We had 3 presentations. We had Amira Body from Maimonides Medical Center. We had Anthony Napoli from Bravo, and we had Matthew Raskov from Catholic Charity. He spoke to us earlier this evening. He's still here? Okay. So, Mr. Body from Maimonides gave us some information that most of us really didn't know about, and that is just how big and extensive and expansive Maimonides Hospital is. That is really, really impressive. First of all, he told us that the hospital is named for Moses Maimonides, an 11th century Jewish scholar and physician from Spain, who famously said that the physician could not treat the disease, but rather treat the patient who is suffering from the disease. He clarified the pronunciation, and this seems to be very important to them, emphasizing that the second syllable ends with an N, not an M. So the correct pronunciation is Maimonides, not Maimonides. Okay? Got it? My mom is. Okay. Because it's a real Brooklyn thing to say my mom is, for whatever reason, but now we know how to say it right. Okay, so, they have 3 hospitals. We have over 80 locations. We have a dedicated children's hospital, a stroke center, a cancer center. We have a 500-person medical team that serves over 320,000 patients a year with 800,000 patient visits and 5,000 deliveries. They serve over 100 languages and are ready to collaborate with community groups for educational purposes. They are a safety net hospital, 50% of the patients receive Medicaid and 80% of its funding comes from Medicaid and Medicare. They're transitioning to Epic, that's the patient information system, so one hospital can go one place, the other place to look it up and everyone knows your health history. They have a new pediatric and psychiatric emergency room, and they're expanding the emergency room space. They also manages dedicated emergency department in Bay Ridge at the location of the old Victory Hospital. They are a level 2 trauma center for kids, and what that means is that all special services are available in-house. They provide services to homebound elderly and free flu shots are given every fall. So we expected to have a representative from the FDNY to discuss the 911 process, the ambulance hospital transport, but this will have to be rescheduled as the representative did not attend. Then we had Anthony Napoli, president of Bravo Volunteer Ambulance, gave an update. Which was really very interesting to all of us because we learned a lot of things about Bravo and tell you about. First of all, it's now in its 60th year of serving Bay Ridge and Dyker Heights. They are restricted to the area that's covered by the 6-8 precinct. They are an all-volunteer organization located at 86th Street and 7th Avenue. They own 2 fully certified ambulances, and they are staffed by fully certified medical technicians. Most of their technicians are NYC, FDNY, EMS employees. So a lot of these people, finish their full-time job and then they go volunteer for Bravo. Very impressive. Bravo has 30 people in their senior squad, and they have a vibrant youth squad of 30 young people between the ages of 14 and 18. Now, this is important. Bravo is not 9/11. Right? Bravo is not 9/11. So if you want 911, you call 911. If you want to reach Bravo, then you dial their number, which everybody in Bay Ridge knows, 718-680-3111. Because Bravo depends on volunteers, they are not in operation 24/7. And the reason for that is they're not always staffed. So if you call their number and they're not staffed, then you'll either get a recording that says, hang up and call 911, we can't help you now, or a person will answer and say the same thing, and they won't engage you in conversation. Now, why would somebody call Bravo and not 911? It seems that one of the reasons, not the only one, but one of the reasons is that they have much more flexibility in where they take you. The hospital. 911, they're gonna take the patient to the closest place, and you really have nothing to say to that. I mean, maybe there are some exceptions, but for the most part, there are not. And unlike 911, Bravo ambulances have more flexibility in selecting the hospital. They go to Maimonides, NYU, Cobble Hill, Methodist, or the Maimonides ER at 92nd Street. They choose based on proximity and their professional judgment on how sick the patient is. Another important thing for Bravo is that they no longer have access to the 911 police system because recent administrative changes were made. So it used to be that Bravo could listen in on the police radio, and if they heard, something's happening on 55th Street or something's happening you know, up by the bridge or whatever, they didn't have to wait, they could just hop in the ambulance and, you know, go in and sit. But they can't, they don't have access to that anymore. I think my understanding is the reason for that is because a lot of people have these, have access to that kind of thing, and they do like crisis chasing, ambulance chasing, or whatever it is, and they wanted to, put an end to that. I don't quote me on this, you know. Something like that, you get the idea. But this is, they really felt that this is greatly to their disadvantage. Okay, so the next thing about Bravo is that's really important is that they need funds. And I noticed in the back of the room, there's a flyer because, what is it, November 15th or something, they're having this basket raffle event for $35, and they're going all around, the neighborhood. If anybody, is a business owner and you want to put together a gift certificate or a basket or something, it'll help them to make some money. And, I mean, listening to the presentation made me feel kind of sad. They've been so strong for 50 years, and we really need them in our neighborhood. So, you know, I hope that, they get the funds that they need. I know that they do have money sitting, and waiting, sitting to purchase an ambulance. They want to get their third ambulance, but, they have to raise matching funds because, it costs $250,000 to get an ambulance. Oh, here it is, November 15th, 7 p.m. at OLA, $35 a person. They need financial support from the community, more fundraisers. And, somebody asked the question of why don't you send out those donation envelopes? People used to get them at home and, you know, write a check with some money in it. It's just too expensive to do a mailing. So that's why they don't do it. If you have any questions about Bravo services, if you want to support them, if you want to volunteer, you can, I'm not going to go on the phone number now, president@bravoambulance.org or 718-680-4625. The last presenter was Marcel Vashko from Catholic Charities, who gave an update about Catholic Charities services for homebound seniors over the age of 60. I think you've heard it all before. They do a lot of terrific things for seniors. They have an unusually terrific food delivery program, and it's impressive that if someone doesn't, the driver calls and someone doesn't answer, you know, they go, they ring the bell. If there's no answer, they call the caseworker, they call the police. So, we're very proactive. And, the last thing, one of our community members brought to our attention that life alerts that are recommended for older people are very expensive. So this person raised the question, so we look into that. And that's it. So thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Ruth. Now I'd like to call up the Communications and Public Relations Committee, Marie Mirabel Shabazada. Okay. She's gonna pitch it.
Hello again. The TV10 Communications Committee report submitted by Marie Merville Chadada. Meeting date was September 29th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the district office and virtual. The Communications Committee met in person
at the district office and virtually on Monday, September 29th at 7 p.m. Although the committee did not have an in-person forum, the meeting proceeded with discussion of 4 agenda items. The meeting began with a note of appreciation to Henry Stewart for his previous work as the communications chair. His leadership and contributions have been greatly valued. The first item on the agenda was planning a meet and greet for new board members. The committee agreed that holding a separate event in the evening after elections and before the Thanksgiving holiday would be the best approach. At the event, the Civic Engagement Commission's short video welcome board member will be presented, which will lead to CB10's onboarding presentation. This presentation will serve both new and seasoned members and help strengthen board engagement. The second item focused on expanding the board's social media audience. The goal is to grow by 2,000 new followers. Liz Lovejoy shared several suggestions on how to boost audience engagement. The committee noted that a pamphlet with a QR code is already being distributed to promote the board's online presence. Current outreach includes a newsletter and a Facebook page. Several members have suggested enhancing the letter to include a highlight of significant votes from the previous meeting, a list of upcoming meetings, and short summaries of committee reports. These additions are expected to make the newsletter more informative and engaging for the community. The third item addressed October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Josephine suggested inviting breast cancer survivors to lead the pledge at the October board meeting to honor the month. Carmen Feliciano shared information about 4 organizations that offer support to individuals affected by cancer. Tracy Britton also contributed information about a group that supports young survivors. Additionally, the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk will take place on October 26th in Prospect Park and at the Coney Island Boardwalk. The committee expressed enthusiasm about promoting these events and showing support for the cause. The fourth item discussed was the upcoming 100th anniversary of Art Deco. In mid-November, the Zoning and Land Committee will collaborate with the Bay Ridge Historical Society, Bay Ridge Conservancy, and the Historic District Council to host a walking tour highlighting Art Deco buildings. To complement this celebration, the committee discussed featuring a Building of the Week segment in the newsletter to spotlight local architectural histories. Henry Stewart and Josephine will work together on this initiative to ensure that the project is both informative and visually engaging. The meeting was concluded on a positive note with members expressing excitement about the upcoming projects and initiatives. Respectfully submitted.
Thank you, Tracy. Now we move on to old business. Is there any old business?
I think this is old business in the sense that it might be progress, because I think fewer motorcycles in the park. But instead of the motorcycles, there are a lot of unleashed dogs in the park. And there are a lot of unleashed dogs in our brand new playgrounds. And so I'm hopeful that we can have fewer unleashed dogs in the park. I think Captain Bissara has left, but I would really like to see some enforcement of that. There are a lot of pit bulls unleashed. There are a lot of pit bull facilities in our neighborhood who do not like to be approached by dogs. And I personally don't like to be approached by unleashed dogs, when the dogs are not in off-leash hours. So I'm hopeful we'll see more enforcement of that. You can see some enforcement of the motor.
No, not yet.
I just want to say that we're all here as volunteers, as board members, and we should be treating each other respectfully. And before, I think a lot of us felt like things were confusing when we were going over the budget. It was a different process than years before. Not about sending input to the office and everything. I think that's very valid. But just in the past, we've had discussions over the rankings, and there's been like a little bit more time for people to reflect. And I asked if I was able to make a motion to see if anyone wanted to allow for people who hadn't had a chance to say something. And people were interrupting me, and I never really did get an answer. And I think the way to be respectful here is we do have proper tools of order. If I would have made a motion, say, do we want to allow people to have a comment who were shut off before, and everyone would have voted it down, then we move on. But I think it's important that we all understand we're here as volunteers. We're here because we care about our community. And, you know, that was just a straight up question. I don't know when I can make a motion, and if I could have, I would have. And I personally didn't have any problem with anything on this list. But I just think I was curious to hear what another one of my fellow board members, or maybe two or three, who hadn't realized we had moved past something, had to say. I don't know why it was so confusing. I don't know if it was the microphone or we just weren't following or what, but it did seem that quite a few people were confused. So I would have felt more, I would have felt it would have been more respectful if we would have addressed it slightly differently. And it is old business. I'm just saying it to share my thoughts. We're moving on, but thank you. And again, thank you everyone for all the work that went into this.
Thank you. Any other old business? Is there any new business? Okay, see no new business? Oh, sorry, yeah. Oh, that makes a motion to adjourn. Second? Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.